Welcome to the Walker Talkers indeed. AA Ron here.
Raider Pete.
And welcome back, guys, to the Walker Talkers, the Walking Dead review preview show. And we do want to apologize for not being here last week. You know, just life comes up, and, well, we figured, you know what, we can just carry it into this week right before the finale, give you guys an extra long show, review the Michonne-centric episode, you know, where they learn about the little scars they got, as well as episode 15, which was the one last week, the infamous Pike deaths.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. So, before we even jump to our opening scene, which will be based off of our last week's episode 15, we would like to just jump in and give you a little quick synopsis / mini discussion on the episode we missed last week, because we got to talk about an amazing performance from Denai.
Yes.
Episode 14 of season 9, man.
Yeah, I mean, not much of a review for episode entitled Scars, but that's exactly what it was about. We finally got to see how Daryl and Michonne got these scars, and evidently it was Michonne's old college buddy that throughout the apocalypse had lost all the adults but kept all the children that belonged to the adults, brainwashed them, and their little backstabbing little punks, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they're thoroughly brainwashed, and, well, pretty much that episode, Scars, entailed a whole bunch of mini conversations between Michonne and other characters,
right,
both flashback and at the current time.
Right.
And you can now see why Michonne changed her mindset after Rick disappeared. It totally had to have changed after she had to slaughter those kids in order to save her own.
Right. It went to a total defensive mode, but even past just Mother Hen. I mean, to the point where she really didn't trust any outsiders. Is because she essentially had a old world friend that she recognized, pre-apocalypse friend that come in, who she presumably would trust based on that, but find out that she can't. And if she can't even trust that. And, you can't trust anybody.
DTA, absolutely, no matter what. Especially many years past the beginning of
at this point, you have to keep your guard up no matter what. And really, at this point, it showed her who her true friends are. And, pretty much the only person she can trust nowadays, which is Daryl,
Maybe Dog, but
maybe
Daryl.
Dog. Sure. But Daryl, and then, and now there's Judith, who she's finding out, he's been talking to Negan, and so she had to go have her talk with Negan that episode, too, and being like, you have no room to be talking to her. I'm her mother, this and that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, she's coming to talk to me, essentially,
Exactly, and that's the one of the most captivating scenes, and that really I thought to me justified her doing what she had to do, was when she was being scarred in her lower back.
Oh, yes.
Fully pregnant, mind you.
Yeah.
With the hot, scorching brand X,
the brand. Oof.
By the child at that, her college buddy stared at her like this close and watched her like in agonizing pain.
Look what kids can do. They're capable of anything.
Super creepy, but at the same time, like, well, that hurt really bad. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, right.
That's gotta be your mindset. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna kill all the kids, but at that point, she knew, like, I'm gonna kill this bitch.
Yeah,
she's got to go.
Pretty much.
And they didn't really show how Daryl slowly got uncuffed from the pipe and then got out, but hey, it happened.
At this point, he's an escape artist. He was just kind of sitting there waiting for the time. At this point, he's like, I know I can get out of here. I just gotta wait for that perfect moment to strike.
But what a crazy scene. I mean, we've seen children before in this kind of warfare, but like this was like very like,
they're to the point brainwashed where you had that older one who was presumed to be like the older teenager.
Like a dozen of them.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this is crazy. We've seen a couple kids or one crazy kid, but this is like a dozen of them.
And they're running with the old, actress, little Judith, the two twins. Running with, running around with her like it's probably a little game to her. She probably doesn't even know it's really life or death.
But it turns out, when Judith has her long conversation in that episode, she remembered it, and the only reason why she paused before she got out of the RV, she told her mother, like, you look different because you had like blood all over you.
Right.
Other than that, like, I knew they were playing games and making it seem like it was okay, but I knew it wasn't, because I knew that woman was not a good person.
Right.
She just has that natural Rick Grimes instinct, even though Rick's probably, there's no DNA there.
Yeah, not the daddy. But all in all, the episode was fantastic. It was something I think we need it in terms of gruesome brutality, not only with that, but also with the acting.
I mean,
The
it goes
acting
to
in
show
the
that
episode was
she is
beautiful.
one of the few that's like so above and beyond the others.
Yeah, as far
That
as
it was a
all,
Michonne episode,
It was.
and wow, well done.
Was well done, but I did tell Pete this though. This is where it falls short in terms of the series, right? In terms of where the series should be going. Yes, it did answer the question we wanted to know about the scars. Yes, it gave, you technically say it gave Denai her proper acting exit. It gave her that pedestal of an episode to really put her on top as like, yes, she's one of the quintessential actors of the show. This is top notch right here. Beautiful storytelling, boom, boom, boom. But all in all, it really doesn't push the story forward. Yeah, it explains how Michonne is now in this time setting with the Whisperers, but all in all, it just solidifies more that she's going to be gone next season, and it's going to continue to possibly be a crap show. I don't know, because episode 15 was also a breath of fresh air for us.
Oh my God, the best.
We'll
get to that when
and we'll get to that soon.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I am somewhat conflicted with this episode. I really did enjoy it, but it's almost like it was an apologetic kind of gemstone put in for like, yeah, we know the shit's been lame lately. Here's an awesome episode, because there's gonna be some more awesome episodes. But again, and for me, it almost solidifies like, yep, that was like the pedestal episode for this actor, and she's gone next season. So
yeah, and she might be gone after only 2 episodes. I heard 3, but I also heard 2. We'll see what happens there.
But all in all, guys, me and Pete really enjoyed it. It was great and pretty exciting for a Walking Dead episode, which leads us to the episode 15 of season 9 episode.
Oh yes.
Oh yes, the extended episode. By 25 minutes.
Before it's called.
Calm Before. And let me go ahead and switch over the slides real quick and jump over with our synopsis of Season 9, Episode 15 of The Walking Dead, The Calm Before. Let me go ahead and find their slideshow thing. Where's it at? There it is, it's already on. Cool. Alright, guys. So, I didn't put synopsis on. Let's do it, Pete. What do we got?
Well, I'll tell you what we got. Season 9, Episode 15. Above and beyond the best episode since episode 5, where Rick had his last. Entitled The Calm Before. Well, the opening scene has this chick Hildy and this guy Miles. It's a couple in love, and it shows their timeline before, during, and after Hilltop. All it did was set up Alpha's disguise, but kind of was pointless besides that. But like that's where Alpha ended up getting her blonde hair after she scalped that chick.
I think they were kind of having a comedic undertone with that too.
Right.
Because it was so like...
I'll tell you what, though. It took way too many minutes long. Like, I thought, like,
Yeah,
they could have shortened it a bit.
I think they were trying to
anniversary, like 3 separate...
Yeah.
Like, oh, my gosh.
They're trying to squeeze
They're dead. When are they going to
die? The punch at the end with Alpha scalping. But, I mean, I will admit this. When they were leaving the gate and it panned over to the guards of the Hilltop, and they're all standing there like, like that old school farmer painting with the farmer and his wife. They just kind of look like it was a good dichotomy, and I appreciated it. Though, yes, it did go on too long.
Well, Ezekiel doing his speech next to a paper mache version of Shiva the tiger started to feel like the showrunner was beginning to make us guess who's next. Because throughout many heartfelt moments had at the opening half of the fair, especially heartfelt moment by all the community leaders once signing that charter pact. And that was a really important scene. I thought it was a cool scene. I kind of wish that Rick was there for that. Everything that built up to that moment, to have kind of like a John Hancock, Thomas Jefferson moment, As we see these bonding scenes throughout the fair.
Right.
At first, on the big screen, for big series in general on TV, we never really seen a sign language scene. I mean, it was purely between the sisters Connie and Kelly, and that was the first time seeing something like that, and it was just as hard hitting as watching speech. I mean, it really was. They really nailed it, and I thought it was different, and I thought it was.
I did appreciate that too. Yeah, I thought that was really nice. It was because it still had an impactful, like you could feel the emotion with it. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as quickly as you can read, sometimes you don't even have to read like really quickly.
Right.
The way that they were delivering it, you could just feel the emotion. It was well done. Well, as Sadiq tells Michonne about his big tribute that Ezekiel did about Rick that we never got to see. We saw Ezekiel do a speech, but Rick wasn't included in that one. We also see a sentimental scenes before the hilltop. OG rescue team heads away from the fair because they hear that Hilltop's in trouble. We need to go there. There are people on their way from there, and there are people that we haven't heard from yet. We got to check on that. So possibly the most impactful was when Daryl asked Connie, "Will you feed Dog?"
Right, and Dog gets left behind.
And Dog gets left behind, but Dog, I think he makes it. But no. What else happens? Well, the discovery of the Lovebird murdered couple's wagon. They find the wagon.
Right.
That actually splits up the rescue group in half. Some continue to Hilltop. Others, like our OGs, follow the trail from the wagon's wreckage. Our OGs and Yumiko, that is, they get back to back. That's probably a scene we could have showed you tonight. Where they fight off.
Before it's actually this is a perfect moment because I was dumb and didn't throw up the opening video for you guys. So
that's probably because there was someone here supposed to introduce it, right?
Oh yeah. This is just perfect time to kind of pause for a second and introduce an old friend, an old fan favorite, Jackson.
Well, hello everybody. You are a punk ass bitch. You know that, Jackson? You've been gone for weeks. Rick dies, you disappear. F you, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like, you got a job to do, Bones.
Yeah, dude. Like, you gotta stick it out with us, man. We're in here. We're all in it together, and for you just to not, whatever, man. Just introduce the damn scene, okay? Pete was just talking about it. Introduce it, would you?
Well, this scene is it the one where I just talked about?
Yeah.
Kinda? Well, we got the OGs. We got, Daryl, Carol. We got Michonne. And we got new gal, Yumiko, that sure likes the ladies.
So let's check out this week's scene.
Fighting back to back.
What?
Good old-fashioned knife fight.
Wait, hold on. It's not opening for some reason. There we go. What?
So yeah, they got themselves in a pickle there because all those walkers were led there by a whole bunch of whisperers.
Oh yeah, they come out of the shadows as soon as they think they cleared the field. Oh, slap, slice, chop. Oh, it's awesome, and then it pulls away.
Yeah.
My God.
Oh, Beta was in charge of that, and it's interesting though. Jax, you know what? Why don't you go take a hike and come back later when we talk about Fan's Choice, all right? Oh, fine.
Catch you later, bro. So, continuing with the synopsis.
I'm going to just call him Boner from here on out. Well, yes, let's continue with the synopsis, shall we? Let's see here. Well, as you can see, they fought back to back, fought off the walkers until surrounded by Beta's team. A little play with short-term timelines maybe have proven how Alpha was inside the fair helping capture, tie up, and slaughter 10 of the 11 characters, all happening just before the movie night started, featuring Quack-a-Doodle-Doo.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Or Quack-a-Doodle. Well, that's where Alpha sits next to Lydia there and surprises her because she was saving his seat for Henry Boy, but he never really showed up now, did he? The show then shifts back to Carol, Daryl, Michonne, and Yumiko, whom get the full download on that little hint that Alpha threw out there, how she ran into people on the highway. That was our cue that the highwaymen are dead, or at least one of them are, maybe more. And
by the way, at this point, this is kind of where me and Pete finally settled on. Okay, they've been effing with us with the timeline this episode, because
an hour and 25-minute long this episode. So we're
like, wait, what's going on? Yeah. Because we were thinking Alpha's in the kingdom right now, running around playing, whoever, but Debbie, little Debbie, and then a scene later, she's approaching Daryl and crew and letting them know that she's ran into trouble. And the sense you're like, wait, what? How is she there already? And we're like, they are messing with us with the time here. Okay. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, she did run into Lydia there and basically disowned her, but at the what did I say here? The deal on Lydia, and shows exactly Daryl, her horde, that huge herd that goes throughout the valley. That's our background picture here. And, that kind of shows what she truly has control of, and that's a super mega herd, which means there are a lot more whisperers, too, because there's no way they can control that. With
she has a lot bigger groups, like satellite groups or something. But this was the scene without the comic book. She actually showed Rick. Rick was the one on the top of the cliff with her.
Yeah, and I don't think it was a cliff. I think it was like a 3-story building or something.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's why when I saw Daryl and Beta in the elevator shaft building, that whole fight, I thought that's when he was going to go on the roof and see stuff. But you know how they switch it up from the comic quite a bit. Right. So, but the rest of the story is pretty much kind of wrapped into my appreciations. But I could tell you the outcomes if we'd like to just do that real quick.
Bloop.
Well, the outcomes are pretty simple. It's 10 Pike deaths, setting up the new border theme that Alpha is enforcing, right? So, with that, we can talk about the characters.
How appropriate! They're coming up right now.
Yeah, Pike after Pike after Pike. You can see all of our heroes, our survivors.
So we had the road dude. We had, I forget the second guy.
We had Highwayman Ozzy, Highwayman Alec. We had Xavier that gone good for Alexandria, DJ.
We had the young ginger girl.
Yeah, I call her Foxy Frankie.
We had Grace Under Fire.
Yes, we had Grace Under Fire, Brett Butler, Tammy Rose. That's correct.
Tammy Rose.
We had Rodney, the college hilltopper.
Yep.
We also had Addie, the Lisa Loeb lookalike, and I kind of like how they put her glasses back on her face right there.
Totally
how
did.
appropriate. Just in case she doesn't rot too quickly, put glasses on. This one is her.
Now
this
the big
Addie.
One's Enid.
And then
that one hit me a little hard.
Enid of the last 4 or more seasons. And then number 9,
Tara.
Yeah, of the last 6 seasons.
You know what? Good riddance.
Alana Masterson, fun, good, loving person and all, but man, you know it better than anyone else.
Last but not least,
you were signed on for 2 or 3 episodes and you lasted 6 years. So hey,
yeah,
take that with you and enjoy. Bye.
Yeah. So see you, Tara. And then of course we had Henry, which was supposed to be the big shocker, but hey, who really was shocked and who really cared?
Well, I wasn't shocked, but I was relieved. It was the breath of fresh air was clean house of sorts. Yes. I think they could have picked some more impactful players in that group of 10, but that's okay. There's more to come on that.
2 of the characters we did not want on the show are off the show now.
I mean, Alden's still there, but maybe he'll have more of a magnificent.
Now he doesn't have Eden, and he's not playing Mr. Pretty Jersey boy. He can actually maybe try to be cool now.
Well, he should pick an accent and stick with it, because I don't know if he's from Jersey or South Africa or somewhere in between.
Right. Hey, either way, now we don't have somebody taking Carl's place anymore, which is also kind of weird. But hey, if Carl's not doing it, nobody should do it, right? That's what I say.
Absolutely. I mean, seeing old pictures of Carl and Enid and stuff really makes me angry, because they could have gone with Carl and rode with him in so many different directions. But, that's kind of our character segment there. But, I mean, if you want to give the fans a little something before we continue, we can.
Yeah, I mean, well, do you want to talk about characters a little bit more?
Well, sure. I mean, for instance, those 10 Pike deaths, let's talk about some of the people that are alive that got affected by them.
Right.
Well, Carol and Ezekiel, big time affected because their son is gone.
They shipped him out to, quote unquote, an internship to be a blacksmith. They learned that he ran away and was trying to be Mr. Hero.
And he almost had his first movie date.
Yeah, almost had his first movie date. He comes back with an injured leg. They finally get to see him again. He gets to enjoy the enjoyment of the fair, and then, well, to be fair, he gets kicked off.
So now we have 3 siblings from real life that have been on the show that have all been killed off.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I don't think there's anybody left in that family, but
so Carol, I think if anybody, Carol's gonna be.
She's an empty nester now. Does that make her more murderous, more serious?
I think so. I think she's gonna be the furious one. I think Ezekiel he might seem like he's angry, but I think ultimately he's gonna be sad and drained, which is gonna lead to his Pike death.
Yeah, he's gonna need Carol to keep him on the straight and narrow. Otherwise, he's going to sink real fast. I agree with that. Other people that got affected by it, I mean, I don't think anyone really got affected by the Highwaymen. They just got introduced.
Not too much, right? But it sucks because they had to set up a
Cool
good deal with them.
character though, both Alec and Ozzy. You know, their voices, their whole shtick.
A savior guy,
great.
Whatever. It was shown that he was actually kind of a good guy of the saviors.
He was contributing a whole lot.
He was contributing a lot, and he was a strong guy, so it was like he would have been a good asset, but ultimately,
right.
Then you have the kids.
The two kids.
Three, I guess you could say if you call the Frankie chick. She's technically one of them too.
No, I don't think she's a kid. I think she was one of Negan's whores, right?
Oh, you're right.
And then she became good friends with Eugene because when Eugene got his own outpost, she was also given to him as a cook and a whatever.
Right, you're right. Yes, I do remember.
She was a big loss because she was a sweet piece of eye candy from head to toe. And I thought she did a good job in past seasons, and I was looking forward to her to being involved in some more like secret mission stuff. But oh well.
And then of course, anybody else affected?
Well,
from Tara leaving, Hilltop in general is affected because now they don't have a leader at all.
Well, Hilltop is a big question mark for me right now. I don't know about the rest of you fans, but like, it sounds like it's been sieged, and a lot of every single person besides Earl the blacksmith that we know of and Alden, those two characters that actually live there, that were there before the whole...
They're at the kingdom right now.
Right. I'm just saying that, like, besides them, like, who's left behind? Like, if anyone's left behind there, they're gone.
Right. Yeah.
But Magna's on her way by herself, it seemed like, or maybe with one other person, because I don't remember seeing her at the whole Sadiq speech afterwards. Maybe she was... If she was, then maybe that means that she never really went there, or she went and came back, and this is like the aftermath. So yeah, I mean,
there it is, man. I mean, hey, cleaned house, and we got some more, detailed cleaning to take care of, so to speak.
Sure.
With some other pike deaths coming up.
Yeah, we need some people that have been around for a while to go down. We know Carol and Daryl are staying for the long term. We know Michonne's staying for a couple episodes next season, so we know those three OGs are safe.
Right.
But like, you still have other really important people like Aaron, who had no FaceTime in the show. That's really weird.
Yeah, he didn't have any.
I don't think I saw him at all.
He must have had the episode off, which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, he's really important. Sadiq has become very important. Rosita and Eugene are OGs. They're important because of that. Same thing with Gabriel. He's pretty much the leader now because Michonne kind of relinquished her ultimate power when they did that signing. She had him sign instead of her, kind of showing the fans like, yeah, she's on her way out. Yeah. As soon as she finds word, well, I'll leave that for my last blast.
There you go. Hey, we'll get that to it soon. Well, we're coming up on our, of course, one of our favorite sections, our Fan's Choice.
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted to mention something, you just reminded me of Aaron, and I was thinking for a minute, too. I was like, you know what? Maybe, the group that got their heads chopped off, even everybody who's just at the fair, maybe they would do themselves justice by just always having some sort of armor on. It doesn't matter, even if they're just enjoying the enjoyment or hanging out. Yeah. This is apocalyptic world. You should be wearing armor. Shit, Aaron always had armor on. I always looked at it and was like, man, it looks uncomfortable as shit, especially around his neck. But he almost has cheap Saiyan armor on. It looks like. Made out of sharp metal. But he always had it on. I think Carol always has her sweet leathers on, her sweet leather armor.
Looks like a belt mesh vest.
Jerry usually has some kind of football armor on or something. So there's a couple characters who they got the right idea, but I don't think everybody does. And honestly, if I ran some kind of society in an apocalyptic future, I'd be like, everybody's mandatory to wear this, so ultimately you don't have to worry about you as much. So we want to ask you guys with Fan's Choice number 1, what kind of armor would you want to wear during the Zombo apocalypse?
Yeah, with threats like Walker mega hordes and herds led by whispers and other apocalyptic evil threats, what apparel would you pick for your community's military? Like, what would your militia be outfitted in? I mean, think about it. If they're stepping outside your walls, you don't want them to be scratched or bit more than shot or stabbed.
Right. I mean,
so you got to think of it differently than regular warfare.
And there's tons of options out there, especially with abandoned malls and stores of all sorts. And depending on where you're at, you might have better options around you. But ultimately we kind of limited it to these three. All
Yes.
right, and kind of they all kind of have a nice balance to them. You have the kind of thinner, cheaper, but more maneuverable
Yeah.
athletic gear.
Yeah, sporting goods or outdoor mega store gear. The combinations you can do to cover
Right.
yourself up. Everything from fishing and camping gear to lacrosse and football and
Yeah,
hockey,
knee pads, elbow pads, shoulder pads,
Yeah.
helmets, stuff like that. Ultimately,
Flexible, bendable,
bendable.
protective.
Yeah, they all help against like humans getting crushed, but against each other. But ultimately, and you can move fast in them. They're for athletes, but ultimately, how much protection will it have? You would have to constantly maintain them,
Yeah.
repair them with duct tapes and whatnot, glues, but are they always going to hold? How many bites can a wrist guard take, whatever, before they chomp through?
Good
All
point.
right.
Number two.
So number two, we're gonna step it up just a little bit, something a little more hardcore, but nothing too crazy. And that is some riot gear, some police armor, SWAT gear almost in a way. Something that some militarized type folk would wear to protect from not only bullets, but all sorts of combat.
And you can modify that just like the sports gear. I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes. The modified riot gear, military police have it, the army has it.
Right.
A lot of different people have it. So it's beyond just your metal plated with little window shield. It's the headgear, the neck gear, the stuff
Right.
you've seen Glenn wear back at the prison when he had to escape by himself.
Kevlar stuff. It's going to be movable. Yeah, it's going to be a little more heavier. You're going to have some kind of oomph to carry it around on you during this.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a little hot, but ultimately it's going to protect. You might be limited some places that, that athletic gear would allow you to move even better, but I think ultimately it would protect all around, and you have many different items for many different things, not only from the dead, but from the living.
Yeah. I mean, just thinking about both the sporting goods and both the military gear, like, I'm thinking all these different helmets and stuff you can wear, like, they kind of obstruct your view, though. Like,
They do.
You know what I mean? Your peripheral vision is kind of obstructed, but it's going to protect you, that's for sure. And our third choice, Aaron?
Well, it's just some old school kind of medieval gear, perhaps kind of refurbished or fixed or repaired up to kind of be modernized. But hey, if you find whether it's some old blacksmith shop or some place that creates this armor, you find that armor, you damn know that you're not gonna get hurt with this shit. I mean, chainmail, you got metal plated armor, thicker leather armors, stuff like that.
Chainmail, I didn't think of that. That's a good one. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, even sharks can't bite through that stuff. So
Right,
there
so
you go.
you're good for chompers, but ultimately with all that metal and heavy armor on,
Oh, God.
it's gonna really
the
limit
heat.
movement
Oh, the heat.
and the heat.
Even
so,
in wintertime, it's got to be so.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that would be even worse. Yeah, so maybe though that's only used for like you send one of your best men to go into a big horde and take out as many as he can in armor.
Yeah.
But hey, how long does it take before he gets worn out and then can't make it back and gets swarmed by him?
Yeah.
Hey, it could work in certain situations, but ultimately, that stuff's gonna be.
We saw a little bit of that because Earl did make plates to go on top of the sporting goods gear
Right.
that Jesus showcased for us during his untimely death, I should
Right.
say. But other than that, it looked pretty weak. It looked a little too aluminum looking.
Yeah, something about it
But,
was
you know,
like, yeah, it
it was
wasn't
just the
quite
show.
there. Yeah,
Well,
so, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Huh? What? Michonne, you gotta tell me something?
Who's got the answer?
Jackson? What?
What?
Let me ask Daryl what he thinks. What do you think? Jackson? Let me ask this Walker over here. Jackson? Rick, what do you think? Jackson?
Don't look at me. Look at them.
Dude, I didn't know how. Jackson, come on, dude. What do the fans gotta say, Jackson? Let me just.
I got him. Ah! Put him in a full Nelson. There.
Jackson.
Go ahead. Read it. Read the answer.
Modified riot gear.
I knew it, little punk.
Damn, Jackson, you had to just come in, man. And, yeah, he's even hurt with a flick.
Bag of bones.
So that was fun. So yes, guys, we think that riot gear is the best, but it's kind of a best of both worlds. The best of movable, athletic, and heavy plated armor, combine it into one.
Oh my god. Yeah, I put Jackson in a full Nelson. That happened. Well, how about a little appreciations? And also, if we do some appreciations, I can also fit in kind of the end of the synopsis because it was an hour and 25 minutes long, and I guess the meaty good stuff happened towards the end. So
Let's do it. What do we appreciate, Pete?
well, I'll tell you what, appreciations all come in the final minutes, and I do like how Daryl asks Alpha if she killed Lydia or not. It kind of shows after the border talk and Mega Horde reveal that Daryl knows how to call out Alpha's one weakness, and she's definitely trying to hide it pretty badly. It opened a can of worms and tears, and it had tears running from Alpha's face, whom, well, she had to stab a Whisperer that saw her hidden sorrow. Beta kind of saw the beginning of it, but they've known each other so long
that he just kind of
backed off.
Right, yes.
But when that other guy came with like the big dead bird, he just dropped it and just got
He's
closer.
like, I'm gonna go tell. She's like,
She's like, come over here and stab to the ear.
Right. Oh god.
But finally, and I say finally because we've been waiting for this for many, many weeks, the 10-head pike scene, which I think on the comic there was 12 heads, but I'm not sure if they were all together or not. But it was well presented and set up. No Ezekiel or Rosita like the comics, yet it did have 10 others that are ultimately a good outcome post Rick leaving, that is, because without Rick and stuff like that, maybe it's not as impactful if you take out an Ezekiel just yet. I don't know.
Right.
They have maybe Ezekiel only lasts another episode. Maybe he'll last all of season 10. I don't know, but there's got to be at least 2 or more Pike deaths to go, according to comics, but you can't really go by that. But that's pretty much, I have some appreciations I'd like to add into my final blast, but like other than that, though, Sadiq's speech wrapped it up nicely, but it made me miss Rick. So like as quality as that speech was, and it was many pages that actor had to read, it was thorough, it was to the point, and it didn't put everyone wheeling back into a rut until they can finally get things back together. They're kind of like, this is where we're at. Let's go forward. Very Rick-esque speech that he gave. I think in the comic I heard Gimple say something like Ozzy, the highway guy, gave the speech or something.
Oh, really?
Like, that's bizarre, but they offed him really quick. So I'm kind of glad it was Sadiq, actually.
My appreciations, of course, it was the Pike scene. It was nice. It was refreshing for them to drop characters that I wasn't fond of because either they got the hint in general. Well, no, they didn't get a hint from the fans because not the fans saw it. They just decided to off them. And you know what? Kudos, because ultimately I think Henry was dragging the story down. I'm not going to lie. And if anybody really truly liked Henry in the show, I'm sorry for you. And same as for Tara. I feel bad if you really enjoyed her in the show. The actress is great.
Yeah,
Henry's
the person's great. He's a nice people in real life.
But how they wrote those characters in the show was not doing it for me at all. I appreciate them.
You know what makes me feel better about admitting that kind of thing on YouTube is that even actors and actresses that have been killed off from both Fear the Walking Dead and the regular Walking Dead, when they're brought on to talk shows afterwards, they're still watching the show.
Right.
And they have heavy opinions about certain characters. It's not the person. Like, for instance, I think someone from Fear, I forget the actress's name, but she was brought on Talking Dead a while back, and she was talking about the little girl that was kind of backstabbing everyone near the ballpark there. And, she called her garbage. Like, she's just garbage, this and that. Well, that's what we think about some of the characters in this season. They're kind of garbage.
They are, man. So
Post-Garl. Wow,
garbage Carl.
Post-Carl Grimes garbage is going on. And now they take out Enid, too. So, that's good, though, because we didn't really want to see Enid hooking up with Alden anyway.
Right, I didn't want to see that either.
Your boyfriend, girlfriend now? Not anymore.
Not anymore, man. So I appreciated that. It was a breath of fresh air. I will go back to the Michonne episode real quick. I really appreciated that in general, her acting. And I hope, if anything, her magical acting dust that is Denai sprinkles on the rest of the cast and they carry it on for the next season and step up their fucking game.
Oh, we don't want them to do that. They're right now, they're kind of like going like this. Episode 15 is like, ooh, going up a little higher. But let's see what happens next.
They need to step up their fucking game.
When they finally bring Snow Walkers in that I've been begging for for 9 seasons straight.
Well,
it only took them 9 full seasons to get to this point.
Let's go ahead and do a couple of little previews for tonight's episode.
Let's do that.
Let's see here. So we got 2 previews for you tonight.
What is this? He's doing like an ole.
We have a on the next episode, which is on the season finale, as well as a sneak peek.
Sneak peeks are always great. Here, let's go ahead and hold it.
Season finale. That's quite the winter blast, man. Reminds me of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I mean, we've been waiting for this. Walkers we've seen come out of water and mud and all kinds of gunk and trash, you name it. This time,
finally I get to see some snow walkers.
Grabbing Ezekiel's ankle out of the snow.
Hey, if anything's going to be fresh, it's going to be that, right? Some fresh powder. And speaking of fresh, here's a fresh sneak peek of tonight's episode. Old D's, Daryl and Carol. And I think Carol's looking to Daryl for some comfort here.
There's a point here where Ezekiel closes the doors. Or maybe we already just saw that. And he's like, the kingdom has fallen. And he locks the doors and no one's there.
It wasn't in this scene, but what Ezekiel does do, he might see the doors closing on him and Carol because he sees how close Daryl and Carol are.
Ooh, love triangle.
She's like, thank you. And then he's like, ugh.
Ooh.
Dang it.
I have not seen this until now.
So, very interesting. Whether it's just a little thing or not, at this point I feel like she's looking to the one that she's been in with this the whole time.
No way Jerry and Ezekiel survive the full arc of the Whispers. What do you think, Jackson?
Jackson.
That's what I thought. He's got nothing in his brain right now. Nothing in his skull.
Whoops, let me turn over. So, do we have any predictions for the finale, Pete? I know you had mentioned something to me the other night involving Eugene, a radio tower, and perhaps our favorite character of all time involving the Walking Dead universe.
Absolutely. Well, as we've known in the comics and as we've seen in past episodes early on in episode 9, Eugene and Rosita and even Gabriel have been on this little sidebar mission to get all this radio equipment together, ham radio, regular stuff, everything from wires and all that. Well, Eugene obtained at the fair in a trade a few extra pieces that were like the missing pieces to it all. So you know that him and Rosita set up some, radar action, satellite action on top of those towers, those huge, huge skyscraper water towers. So now, if they hear the Commonwealth, it's like the comic. But what has been said is that they're going to hear Rick Grimes' voice actually saying, this is Rick Grimes, blah, blah, blah. Now that relay gets back to Michonne, and that's all she has to hear to freaking head the direction that signal came from. Hence, she's leaving the show.
But here's the bittersweet thing is apparently while they hear Rick's voice, they can't, unfortunately, contact him.
Right.
They can't get their interception. They can't intercept it and reply.
Now, these rumors might not be totally accurate, but that's the most accurate, I think, is that Eugene can't say, hey, it's me.
Right.
But he can hear and know, he knows for sure that's right.
Like, Michonne! And she's like, see ya. And they're out.
Yeah. Like a Benny Hill show.
Right. Hey, you know what, as far as prediction goes, a lot of deaths happened last episode. If any deaths happen tonight, I think they'll be far and few in between. And if anything happens, it'll be something big like that. Maybe even something that gives us hope for the movies. And that's all the predictions I think I have for tonight's episode.
Same here, man.
All right. And then that leaves us with, of course, our final blast, our final thoughts on both episodes 14 and 15. And with the season finale tonight, we want to leave you guys with some closing comments before you can go enjoy the enjoyment and blast. Pete, your blast?
Well, as I said, I liked Sadiq's speech. I know it's kind of corny, but I think it was appropriate. I think it was fine. The long, slow setup with all the bonding during this episode that led to the Pike deaths was worth it.
Right.
And it was kind of nice to see finally the fair and how they all set it up. Really cool movie set. The Pike deaths were needed. It was a semi-reboot, but I want a full reboot. you're taking Rick out, and we know Michonne's leaving next. You need to take out a whole bunch more people. I'm sorry, I'm thinking at least 8, and that'll make me feel like, okay, now what do you got? Like, let's see where this is taking us. I mean, even if it means bringing Morgan back from Fear, I'm down with that too. But other than that, I am really not excited about season 10 as I am the Rick movies.
Right.
Alpha brings a breath of fresh air, though, as far as the horror goes. I mean, she really captured my attention with everything that she's done, from wearing the skin masks to talking to her own, to talking to her enemies, to putting on disguises and going stealth mode. It's all super creepy. It's way more deadly than Negan ever was. And way more unpredictable than Negan ever was. He just at the time had the numbers and had the guns, and then they had to slowly figure out how they can get back at him. But when Michonne reunites with Rick, when she does, she will give him a thorough update. And that's my final blast, because you know that all this that's happened, including like the full story of the Whisperers, Rick's going to find out about everything, about how all the Pike deaths, the people that died before the Pike deaths, maybe there'll be more Pike deaths or more people that die afterwards before Michonne leaves the communities to go looking for Rick.
But what is Rick going to do, though? He's not going to do shit.
Well, this is what he's going to do. If she leaves on her own, he's going to have a mission to eventually come back for the kids, because he now will find out if she does take one or both kids, then maybe not. But
I think she'll take the kid.
If Rick Grimes finds out he's got an actual like love child that was meant to be, that was planned to be, he's going to want to be part of his life. He's going to want to put him in the best situation.
But I think Michonne will bring that love child to him, and at that point, she's like, basically to be like, look what we made, like present it to him, not being like, hey, your love child's way back here, but I had to come get you first. Like,
and it's
be like, what the fuck?
Redeeming after losing Carl, and it's a second chance kind of thing.
That's why I think she'd bring him with him.
Ezekiel and Carol got their second chance in Henry, and we know how that all went down, though. But
well, whatever, Henry blah. So here's my final blast. You know what? I said this show really needed to ramp up. And it really needed to be elevated after certain things happened and transpired. But I didn't want it to go up a ramp and over some sharks, so to speak. I didn't want them to jump the fucking shark, which I was fearful of happening. Though with Michonne's episode and last week's episode, episode 15, and hopefully with the snowy, blizzardy episode tonight, the storm.
I'm looking forward to that so much.
That ramp will continue to go up, turn into an escalator, a stairway perhaps, and continue to climb into greatness, and not down into the pit of the sharks where I thought it was going to go and ultimately go down in history as a crappy ass show. It's not going to, hopefully now.
I like those metaphors. They seem to say all these deaths are catapults to like something greater and bigger. I'm not convinced yet, but I'm
catapults is a harsh terminology, because that indicates that it rapidly fires us into something great.
And did they rapidly fire us into the Whispers after Rick died?
No.
That was not a rapid fire.
No, it was not.
Sorry.
That was a trek up some stairs, and you're up a couple flights, and you're like,
fuck,
how much more?
They called that a catapult.
Right. So, it's tread lightly here, but where they're going, I don't see any sharks yet, so I'm liking it. Like Pete had mentioned, Alpha is a breath of fresh air in terms of the villains, but I did not like her origin story. It was fucking shitty. And I will say that until the show is off the air.
How quick did she go into that Alpha character, and her origin story was pretty like, all right.
It was just shitty. It was like one of the fucking like
filler.
It was like one of those webisodes, is what it seemed like. It was really disappointing.
Really
I didn't like it. For like the main big show, you do not have webisode type content in it. That's no go. You could tell they rushed it. But ultimately, her character redeemed it with how creepy she is, and doing a good job. Let's just
hope she uses this mega horde tonight in tonight's show, and not make us wait until like Halloween to see what happens.
I agree with that, and that'll be my final blast. You guys enjoy the enjoyment. Enjoy the season finale of season 9 of The Walking Dead. We will be back next weekend for our review of the season finale and perhaps our very last The Walker Talkers. Now, the very last one to review the shows. But we will be back.
There's zombie walkers. There's white walkers. I mean,
hey, who knows? But of course, like we mentioned, we'll be back for the movies regardless to talk about those. But don't forget, Game of Thrones is right around the corner. The season finale, the series finale, and well, it's go time. And we'll be over on Twitch for that, guys. But more to come when that gets closer. Yeah, guys, enjoy the show tonight. We'll catch you next week. Peace out.
Later. And zombie puppets next week, everyone. They're coming back.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those.